Hello, fellow writers and authors. Today I will discuss the question, how do you actually write a top-rated nonfiction book? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Eric Demeter, and you're watching Write and Thrive, and I teach people how to write better and publish their books. Please like and subscribe if you find this content helpful. First, to write a nonfiction book, and it doesn't matter if it's a faith-based book or not, the publishing process and the publishers work the same. You'll need a coherent and compelling topic. Let's start with coherent. Your book is going to need an overarching theme in order to succeed. It's not going to be a compendium, a collection of topics. You'll need a main topic to focus on, to hone in on. On my book, it's on dating, especially Christian dating. I touched on singleness, I touched on marriage, but my focus was dating. And every chapter, though they were disparate in some ways, did I say that word right? Disparate? They all pointed back to dating in some way. For your book, you will need a main theme that you're passionate about. Obviously, you have to have a strong interest in it in order to write about it. It needs to pull at your heartstrings so that you can tug on others' heartstrings. Because if you're excited about it, the reader is going to be excited about it as well. For me, 5 years ago, I wanted to figure out how faith and dating were related. I saw a problem in the church, thought dating was kind of weird, and my book addresses those issues. I saw a problem and I wanted to solve it. And I know your book, whatever you're writing about, is going to help many others. When you consider your primary topic, whatever it is, think of what the problem is that you want to help people solve. Unless your book is purely entertainment, people are reading to find help in whatever area you have expertise in. But don't worry about inventing a totally new subject or problem to solve. You're not going to be able to do that. Most everything has been written on at least once. For example, let's say you want to write about dieting. You're into health. You're into getting in shape, into losing weight, and you want to help others. There's a million other dieting books, but that does not mean the world doesn't need another one. That also shows it's a huge market. Having a huge market is a good thing. So although countless books have been written on dieting, there is a need for more. And especially because you're unique, and if you take a specific angle on dieting, one that the world hasn't seen, or maybe you take that angle and shift it a little bit differently, you can still have a really engaging and helpful and successful book. Next up, if you want to write a successful book, you'll need to thoroughly research your topic. If you're not already an exemplar in your field, you'll need to read at least a handful of other books on whatever you're writing about to grasp all the arguments and the different ways people are looking at it. You might need to read 10, 20, 30 or more books until you feel like you really grasp the topic. Not only will the research give you a broader understanding of the topic, you can pass that on to the reader. So you'll give them a broader perspective, a different perspective, even if you disagree with what other authors write. You know the arguments. Plus, you can take notes of compelling quotes, and you can put those in your book as well. At the moment, I'm writing a book on how to find your calling. I don't even have a title for it yet, but I've read dozens of related books to finding your purpose, how people choose careers, and what the Bible says about work. I've read so many different perspectives. My head is so full. Some authors I agree with, others I don't. But it doesn't matter if I agree or disagree because, I've learned a myriad of other ways that people see the same topic. Third, you'll need to divide your material into chapters. Chapters are major themes in the book. They divide the material into readable chunks and they help organize your book. They make it easier for you to write, easier for you to understand and comprehend, and the same for the reader. If you don't know where to start in your book, think of a sub-theme under your main theme of your book and write that chapter. Start with your strongest chapter. What stories do you want to implement? Make a list and see where in what chapter they'll best fit in. What research and data do you need to find to make a compelling case for your argument? What quotes will you choose that will inspire, encourage, and support your key points? If you err on one side, planning versus writing, definitely write, because you cannot edit a blank page. I tell myself this over and over. It's so much easier to edit words, because if you're thinking and you're writing but you're deleting, you can never edit anything. So write a terrible chapter that you can edit. Fourth, you'll need to make time to write. I did not say find time to write. You won't find time. I'm sure you have hundreds of other things going on in your life. You have to carve out time. You have to make it. You have to extend your elbows, push aside those other commitments, and chisel out 30-minute or 1-hour blocks so that you can focus. You gotta just say no to a lot of things to finish your book. And I always tell myself, I say, Eric, your book is not gonna write itself. It's true, I guess you could use AI to write your book, and we're gonna talk about that in other videos, but now I'm talking about you, the author, writing from your heart, writing from your mind, and that takes a lot of work, but it's so, so worth it. My recommendation to jumpstart your book or to continue it is to go on a writing retreat. Take 2 or 3 days aside, rent a cabin in the woods, go anywhere, just get out of your regular life, even a hotel room, and write for huge chunks of time. This is what I did when I wrote my dating book, and it was huge, and it gave me the outline and even some of the first chapters, and I'm so happy that I took a writing retreat. Next, you need to actually write. We just talked about this a little bit, and I'm not trying to be pedantic here, but there's a difference between making time to write, setting time aside, and actually doing the act of writing. When I was on my writing retreat in Colorado, I love looking at the mountains, or I was distracted on my phone, or I'd be surfing the internet. But you actually have to write. When I was on my writing retreat in Colorado, I'd stare at the moose going by. You gotta look at the moose or the mountains or my phone. It's easy to get distracted when things are quiet. So make sure you're actually banging on those keys. So go for it. There are no wrong drafts. You just gotta get those first words down. Think about a sculptor. Like if he never put the chisel to the unhewn stone because it just didn't look good. Like, what is that thing? Is it a person? Is it an eagle? There's that point where it just doesn't look like anything. You have to get through that. This is kind of blah in order to get to the good stuff. You'll have convoluted sentences. You have disorder in your paragraphs. You're going to have stuff that doesn't make sense. You have to write and write again and again until you get it exactly how you want. I believe we have a fear of saying something wrong, or we feel like we're not good enough, or we're disqualified as an author, or we're going to make a mistake. You got to get over all that and just get the first draft down. After this, at some point, you're going to need to hire an editor. For preliminary edits and cursory feedback, send it to some friends and some family members. But when you really want to dive into the editing process, you have to fork over some cash to do it right. You get what you pay for, so have a budget set aside for the edits. In a future video, I would take you through the editing process step by step and show you kind of the evolution of a paragraph through what I wrote, what I rewrote, and what the editors did. And I think that's really going to be a fascinating video. Next, you'll need to find a publisher. And in a later video, again, I'm going to talk about the differences between self-publishing and traditional publishers. But you're going to have a completed manuscript, or let's say completed chapters. And really, there's no completion. And that's what I mean by that is there's no work that's actually done. It's just when you decide that it's done or when you're out of time. Books are actually what you think about a certain topic at any given moment in time. We grow, we change, hopefully for the better. So our views are gonna ebb and flow along the way. So there's really no point in thinking I'm gonna make this perfect book, because in 10 years, I'm gonna say, oh, I wish I would have said that differently. At some point you say, stop, this is the best I can do at this point, and that becomes your book. If you decide to self-publish, you'll have to do all the nuts and bolts yourself, like choosing a title, designing the cover, and registering the ISBN number. You'll also do the typesetting. You'll choose all the fonts, or you can hire all these elements out, because you may not know how to do an ISBN number, but there are websites like Fiverr, and there's freelancers that can help you do that. Or if you want to go for a traditional publishing deal and aim to get paid to write your book like I did, all you need to do is hand in a book proposal. I say it like, oh yeah, all you need to do. A book proposal, we're gonna talk about again in future videos. Make sure you subscribe. But for that, all you need is 2 to 3 completed chapters. One of the best benefits of landing a traditional book contract is that the publisher does the cover design, actually choose the title as well, and they do the typesetting and choose the fonts, and they do some marketing for your book. So there's a lot of benefits to landing a traditional book deal. Finally, you'll need to persevere. You'll need to have grit. Whatever maxim you want to use there, no pain, no gain, no progress without struggle, it's all true. Your book, the success of your book comes with the price of dirt under your fingernails. You'll create something beautiful if you stick with it. You just got to stick with it. Keep on going. So wherever you're at today with your book, maybe you're just starting, maybe you're in the middle of it, maybe it's just an idea. You're thinking, I need to write a book. I really need to do this. That's great. Or maybe you started writing and you took a hiatus and you're ready to jump back into it. Start wherever you left off and make a new commitment to complete your book. Gather your notes from your computer, from written pieces of paper, and schedule a writing retreat. Take time away, get away from your normal life, and write. Thanks so much for watching, and please comment below, ask me any question, and I'll be sure to respond.